We are recording.
We'll go ahead here and get started. Welcome to the fall 2023 quarterly board meeting for IGIC. Just do a brief roll call here. If you're online, you can put in your chat. Otherwise, for those of you here in person, say your name and who you're with. I'll start. I'm Greg Jameson with the City of Grimes.
Adam Shell, Iowa DOT.
Brad Cutler with the Traffic and Safety Bureau at the Iowa DOT.
David Kroll with the City of Johnston.
Josh Hilbert, ISU.
DH Head, Des Moines area FPO.
Penny Bosler, retired.
Jade Finch, Impact 7G.
Dave Burkow with Aerial Services.
Thanks all. Is there any new agenda items needed? Josh pointed out that we have to do one minor adjustment. We need Penny Bosler from county government to at large. So just go ahead and make that. That is the only thing that I have been told. We need to make a change.
Well, then we have to move a county up.
Yeah, we have to move a county up.
So James, sure.
Yeah. Sweet.
So we have to approve it.
So motion to approve the agenda then?
So moved. This is Debbie.
Thanks, Debbie. Can I have a second?
I'll second.
Any seconds?
Any second? All in favor?
Aye.
I
All right. All right, agenda is approved. So we'll go ahead and step down to the treasury report with Josh.
All right. In here, a second. So, all the site license money is in, and so that constitutes essentially what was left over from this past year. We also I had a small renewal for Quicken, and then paid ISU for the website support that was approved at the last meeting. So our current balance is $32,094.89. Taxes are currently with the tax specialist, so those should be done here in the next week or two, I believe. Don't see any big items coming up here in the next, in between now and the next meeting. So any questions?
I'm assuming the ISU, the GS faculty poll will be sometime later. That we approved last meeting.
The payment?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Oh,
the
that's
2,800.
oh, okay.
Yeah, that's for the website, ortho server, all that other jazz. So
Perfect. Thank
that's
you.
all taken care of.
Okay. Any questions? Hearing none. We'll move down to Debbie Stevens talking about the William Penn University curriculum.
All right, and it's actually the Indian Hills. That's the one where we have an advisory board because we have a full program. So what we are doing, it's our advisory board time. We do it twice a year, and they have agreed to let me and Brian go ahead and work with IGIC because we do not get enough people that come to our advisory meetings that are GIS people. A company that might use GIS sends somebody just to represent them, but they don't know anything about it, so we really don't get any input. So we've done this a few times now, and they like this idea, so we're allowed to do this. So I sent out this information, and I just gave you a few ideas. Brian, I'm not sure if Brian's on. He probably would word this better, but what Esri products should we be teaching? We're doing ARC Pro, we do online. There are all kinds of apps that we're using, Survey 123. We're getting more into field maps and quick capture, things like that. But what are we missing? What should we be teaching at this point in our associates program?
I mean, I think that's a really robust list there.
Okay, the one that we sent? Which list are you talking about?
The list you just were, the list you just shared with us,
Okay, for the curriculum?
correct? So
Okay, good.
RTS Online, a
Yep.
little bit desktop with RTS Pro,
Okay,
a tiny bit of touching of ArcMap until it finally retires.
I would,
okay.
I wouldn't even touch it.
Yeah.
We,
That's
we-
what I advised last
we,
time.
we don't even install it in our lab, just
Yeah,
because we don't want people to start it up and then have to, and then get
Last
stuck.
time we did this, what, last spring?
Last fall.
yeah.
Yeah, I advised then,
Yep.
don't
We,
even,
s- yeah, we stopped teaching ArcMap because it was confusing the students that came in, and if we had a little ArcMap and then we did the Arc Pro, they were very confused.
So this is Nicole Skippers. I struggle on this one, and this might be a county thing, but there are still a ton of people using ArcMap. And it's not there are still vendors that aren't supporting Pro yet. So we're stuck on ArcMap for some things. So to me, sending someone out into the world who could end up administering a GIS system like I do here at Marion County, who has no ArcMap knowledge, but they land in a place that's all ArcMap still, or even ArcReader, because that still hangs around at a lot of places, believe it or not, is almost unfair. And I'm not talking about teaching whole classes on it, but I think there should be some familiarity with it, because it is, whether we agree with it or not, it's still something that has to be dealt with out in the world. We all know it's going to be retired and it's going someday to go away, but that doesn't mean people stop using it.
I would say focus on the pro, get them solid in pro, and then if you want to throw in a little, oh, by the way, here's the legacy system that you may be exposed to, but it shouldn't be a class or a main focus. They need to be solid with their pro skills before they're even introduced to an ArcMap. I trained, when my replacement came in, it was right before that pro class over in Ames, and I had her go take that class. And I said, we are gonna, every map you work on, with the exception of our ag land, she needed an ARC map for that, but you're gonna start out entirely with pro. Every map you create, everything you do, we're gonna immerse you in pro and not, but she came in with basic ARC map skills, so for her, that wasn't a big,
Mhm.
This is
Right.
this
And
is
that's
James.
what I'm saying. Oh,
This
go,
is
James.
James. This is James or Clay. I just wanted to say that when I was in school, ArcMap was very much a thing, but they still did do like a kind of like our last lesson was in ArcView, and the professors said that it was good for us to learn where it came from, and actually it kind of worked out really well for me because ArcView does a very similar layout to what Pro does now, where the layouts were separate from the map. So I don't think there's anything wrong with having a lesson or two where these kids at least have a little understanding of ArcMap. I really do think that would be good for
Right.
all the reasons Nicole said.
I don't want the focus to be on ArcMap, and that's not what I'm saying at all, but I am seeing a trend where new people are coming into this world and have never seen ArcMap before. And they've only worked on Pro, and they're reaching out and they're struggling because they don't know how to navigate the world of ArcMap. And it's still there. We all know Pro is the future, but ArcMap is still there, and it's going to be there a long time. So I think some minor exposure to ArcMap, what it is, how do you add data in ArcMap? It's very different from adding data in Pro. Understanding how do you edit in ArcMap, right? If you're used to Pro, you have no concept of starting and stopping an editing session. And something as simple as that is a big thing. So
Adding
I
a
do
tool.
agree. Right. I do agree, focus on pro, but have a lesson or two in ArcMap so they're not thrown into the world and go, what is this? I don't know what to do.
Here's
Or
the
like
back.
maybe a scenario where they have, like, you got this old information and, you know, try to see how they can, you know, bring that project into pro as well as manipulate it in ArcMap or something like that.
So here's the thing about ArcMap with in regards to the site license.
Yep.
This is our last year of ArcMap on the site license. For schools, we can't license it come September. So there's going to be very few emergency extreme cases where we can probably pull a license, but they have said it will not, you cannot by default have an ArcMap license. So it's not worth trying to even do a lesson into the plan if you can't even, access the software.
It's possible that Brian is still migrating, since he works for the county. He's migrating things from ArcMap into ArcPro. And he might be able to do a demonstration of that a couple different times. We'll take a look at that and see if we can do it. See if we can figure out a way to do it, because yes, I was wondering that because I don't have any access to ArcMap right now, as far as I know, unless it's in my Esri stuff.
Yeah, it's in there, but it won't be come next license year.
Yeah. So, but we'll see if we can figure something out. And Nathaniel also suggested something. He would like to see more cadastral work being done. And Brian does a lot of that too. So we will see about incorporating that into some of it. I know Brian has a couple lessons in different courses he teaches. So we'll see if we can up that a little bit. So thank you, Nathaniel, too. And anyone else who wants to email me with any suggestions after this meeting, I don't want to keep you much longer, but I did want to have some input from you. So that's all good input. And I will see what we can do to up the, at least awareness of some of the older things. So I really liked ArcMap. I was so much more comfortable, but the more I use ArcPro, I'm starting to fall in line, I think. So, any other comments? And I mean, I just threw out some discussion points that Brian and I talked over. If you have other discussion points that you think are important, we are very happy to consider them and include them with our report to our division chair. So.
Do you, and Josh, this may be a question you can answer. The site license, does it give you access to enterprise?
Yes.
Because that might be an avenue people want to start looking into exploring teaching as well.
Yeah, it gives access to enterprise and to portable.
That would be useful.
I mean, I would say like server, I mean, this is getting a little more into the weeds, but more about just managing an ArcGIS server, publishing to it, seeing what it looks like, that section of enterprise.
What is a REST server?
What is a REST service? The core.
Yeah, and do you cover anything with database maintenance and?
Yeah.
I guess,
Yeah, you mean me, and Brian and I?
of course.
Yes. Yes, we do a database. One course is all databases.
Great.
So, and when we try to cover as many different ways to update databases, whether they're Access or Excel, yeah. And then like the databases that you can download from everywhere, we talk about that. So.
A lot of times, well, at the county, GIS person may be in charge of the SDE database.
Yep. Yeah, Brian and I work together pretty closely on those, and once in a while he'll come in and do something, and he's learning GPS and some of those apps a lot more now, so I'm not the expert in that as much as I had to be at the beginning, and especially since we are doing so much less work with handhelds than we ever have. Everything is Survey 123 or other apps, so. Which does kind of beg the question. Are you guys still using handheld units a lot? Maybe the higher end than just plain Garmin's that they learn on?
So at least a quick snapshot, I know, like the city of Johnston State Pearls here, they use Trimble.
Yep.
The city of Grimes, where I'm at, and the city of Waukee uses Carlson units. They're Jamie Peterson with Potawatomi County likes Arrows. I'd say those are the three big players across the state.
Okay,
At ISU, they're all, it's all, phones with connected to a DA2.
okay.
Well, and the DOT uses, I don't know if BJ's on and he knows, but it's not Trimble. I can't think of what it is, but the DOT, I forget why it's escaping me.
Use Topcom.
That's it. Thank you, whoever that was. So that's the other big player.
So in
So
short,
Debbie,
go ahead.
the GIS facility had been using the Trimble handhelds for years, but the site license was not renewed because we didn't have enough interests from the rest of the campus to cover it. And so since we don't have the software, Pathfinder to be able to process the data collection, we're not using them anymore. Like Josh said, we did buy a DA2 from Trimble to get a little more higher accuracy ability for an antenna on phones and tablets. But we also bought less expensive but reasonably accurate a Garmin Pro and a Bad Elf, one of the high-end Bad Elf antennas to Bluetooth connect that gets a little bit better accuracy than the phone itself, just to test those out. And that's usually good enough for, collecting data where you could probably see it when you're close, a tree, a sign, something, but not high accuracy like you would be able to get with the DA2 if you were to buy the Catalyst subscription to get down to centimeters or sub-foot.
And I know we were using ArcPad heavily when we were using the Junos and things from Trimble because Pathfinder just was extremely expensive and we just did not get enough training on it to make it worthwhile. ArcPad, when we figured that out, that was very good. Do they even have ArcPad anymore?
Nope.
See, so I mean, we can still collect data with the Junos, but it's not the same as building the forms and things that we did before, so.
No.
I mean, I would say the best thing is it's about collecting data inside field maps. And
Yep.
do the Bluetooth, whether it's the Bad Elf or the DA2, that's kind of the workflows.
Okay. All right. Good information.
That's the way Boone County does it, is the DA2 and field maps.
Okay. All right. Anything else that you see as emerging trends or the needs? Anything like that? I know AI is getting in everything, and I found some things that AI with GIS, so just some articles that have been written.
Yeah, we're definitely getting into AI
Are you? Okay.
at the DOT. I would have any comments by Sean or Patrick in the chat, but the data science one's a hot topic too for us. Analytics at the DOT.
Okay.
I would argue though, on the AI side, it's more about reading data off PDF or other like records to then put
Sure.
in basis. So more of the fancier buzzy things you're seeing on the news aren't as realistic, I think, right now for us. But
Yep.
Anyway,
Okay,
I mean, ChatGPT is a nice tool to do some early data governance or some early processing, some also code samples, in my testing of it. It's not always correct, it's not always accurate, and you can fight it at times, but it is helpful to get start somewhere.
okay,
well, and I should add also with image and detection on image and video. That's obviously been a big thing, especially with in trains over at Iowa State. They've been doing a lot of that.
okay. All right. And another question we had, are there skill sets that aren't necessarily related to mapping that you are still looking for, that because candidates are coming in with some weak skill sets just in general, communications or whatever? And I know Nathaniel gave me some information too, so thank you very much, Nathaniel, on that. He asked about the internships, and yes, I'm career services full-time at Penn, and I help students that we only have 2 GPS class or GIS classes right now. And I help students get internships in that even. And they've gotten jobs just with 2 classes. But the Indian Hills one, since Brian and I both teach down there, we work with every student we have to get them in a good internship. And so far, we are even going back, and some of the students that graduated a few years ago and did not go into GIS at the time, they're going back in. We've had 3 go back in this year and go back to GIS. So there are so many jobs now for them. We're trying to make sure they get internships and jobs when they graduate. If you have any other questions, I'll take a quick look at the chat too, but if you have questions or if you have some advice, please feel free to contact me, and thank you all for allowing us to do this, because this is way more helpful to us than having people with the companies that might use GIS, but they don't send somebody that's in GIS because they don't have enough people to spare. So this is working out very well. Thank you.
Thanks, Debbie. Thanks for involving us.
Yep.
So we're going to step down to number 5 here, updates from committees and representatives. So Education Committee, Robin and Amy.
Sure. I have a short, not an update as much as it is a request. When I retire at the end of this year, I think it would be good to have a replacement that could help Amy and Debbie split the duties on the Education Committee. If it still makes sense to do it the way we have it set up, where there's a internal member-focused education where we try to get training organized for members, and possibly outreach events where we can help cities or towns or even organizations that need GIS help. And then Amy and Debbie, they've been working with training teachers and education to students. Since I'm the one who's been nominally handling the member education piece, I'd be looking for someone to volunteer to take on that role. Not that Amy and Debbie couldn't do it all, I suppose, but I would imagine they would like some help. Right now, there's very few people who are on the official education committee in Slack. I would guess there's more people out there who would be willing to maybe step up and think about that. So you don't have to necessarily volunteer right now, but it'd be good to hear from 1 or 2 people who are interested in doing that. That's what I've got to share. Amy?
Sure. So since we last met, Debbie and I did a K through 12 teacher training. We had 5 teachers come and we taught them about a bunch of different resources, as well as the end goal was to build a story map. And part of that is so that the teachers can then, know how to use story maps so that hopefully they will help their students to join the Iowa Map Contest. And Debbie, do you want to talk about the next map contest at all? Oh, are you?
Sure. I
Okay.
know that all of the things are getting ready to go out, and I think we've had a T3G thing on one of the once a month on Thursday nights where they've gone through that and they talked about how to recruit more teachers and students into the program. And so we'll be working on that to see if we can possibly up the number of people, although the small number allows us to really work with them for the 2 days that we have them. So this year we did it at ISU with Amy and in her department, and that worked out really nicely. And you have such a wonderful campus there for them to go out and walk and practice collecting data or taking a look at things. So, and hopefully we'll do another training, but I'm getting ready to send, and I would like to send out to all of you when I get this done the upcoming date. So in case you know teachers, you might just speak with them and say, hey, would you like to do something fun and get your students engaged, and maybe that will help too. And I know some of you have done that in the past and it's been helpful. So, but yes, I think just about everything's ready. And so in November, I will be sending things out. So to the teachers. So anybody that would like to introduce me to some teachers via email or something, I can send information to them and answer questions too. So, and Amy can do that. Amy has the AmeriView and Iowa View. So she has some specific programs that are really cool that teachers could drop right in for some engaging things. And a lot of teachers that we're working with might teach regular courses, but some of them teach like the talented and gifted or whatever they call it now. So they have students that are looking for things like that. That's all I have to say.
One other thing, we had a Earth Observation Day last week, and we had a really good turnout from the IGIC community. So I just want to thank you. We had a lot of IGIC speakers, and it was a great event. So thank you for everyone who participated. And that's the main things I have to report on right now.
Thanks, Education Committee. Nicole, the final update.
I'm sure I can't speak for everybody, but I can certainly speak for myself. Lord have mercy, we are done with the iTech contract. The new contract has been signed by both IGIC and ICIT. It is finalized, done, signed, sealed, delivered. We will be at Prairie Meadows for 25, 26, 27, and 28. So those are the 4 years that are signed for right now. So 2024 will be the last year at the Sheraton as we know it. Prairie Meadows, I think, is going to be awesome. I don't know if anybody has ever been there in their event space, but it is way bigger than what we have. It is certainly more modern than what we have, from projectors and mics. the system, anybody who's ever been on the ITAG committee knows that trying to find somebody at the hotel to help you is difficult. The way Prairie Meadows does it is they give you a number that you text, and it texts everybody on their event staff. And whoever responds to the text first just does it. So you're not trying to track down, well, who's on shift right now, who's not. There's screens outside every conference room, every room that can be divided. Each divided section has a screen that we can program with the schedule for that day and even theme it to our conference and everything. So it's going to be a great space for us to really grow into. There's discussions about potentially setting up kind of a future of ITAG group. If there's changes that we want to make to ITAG when we make the move to a new location, this is the time to make those changes. So, you know, a discussion that's come up, a couple people noted that the timing between sessions being back to back is too much. Can we add 5 to 10 minutes in between each session? So if one runs a little long, you're not running into the next one late, you can run to the bathroom, those kinds of things. Are there things we're not doing at ITAG that we would like to be doing, or things we're doing we don't want to continue doing? All of that stuff. So these are things that we'll have to take into consideration when we're planning. And so for 2025, which will be the first year at Prairie Meadows, that would be IGIC's year to run ITAG. Greg and I, because we were both on the contract committee, have already stepped up and said we will run the conference that year. We will chair it just to help. That first year is always a learning year. So we thought it might be an easier transition if the two of us just stepped up and helped do that. I mean,
Any
that's
questions?
really all. It's done, it's signed, we're good.
So in signing the contract, just to be clear from the financial side, most, or if not all of our revenues of this year's ITAG conference disbursement went down towards the deposit for the signing of the contract. We were able to negotiate it down to, I think, correct me if I'm wrong, Nicole, I think it's a $5,000 for our first year deposit.
Yes.
So
5,000 from each or 5,000 overall?
Just 5,000 total.
5,000 total, yeah, so 2,500.
So we should get some back still.
Correct.
Yeah, it won't be as much as we have in the past. It was just taken out of the ITAG account.
I know in talking with Joel, a lot of vendors are excited for this move and excited for this change as well. There's a lot of opportunities here that will, as we move towards that, we'll share more. So I'm glad it's over as well.
And I mean, if anybody has any thoughts or things they would really like to see or not see at ITAG, feel free to reach out. I don't know if it'll be our next meeting or when we'll actually really talk about standing up a group of people that we would really like to be past ITAG leaders and new people who maybe have never done it, to give feedback into how we can make it better. So this is a good opportunity for us to really make it what we want it to be.
And I will say in the contract, we have the entire space to
Yeah.
through Friday. It is 100% ours. We asked, and it seems like they're open to, they're finalizing it. I've not heard back yet, to do drone flights over the racetrack, to like a drone imagery class. Like there's a lot of opportunities for us. We do have a booth on the racetrack if they do have a race that night, for an evening dinner or even festivities. So we have some really unique opportunities at this location. We're trying to figure out what's the best way for us to take advantage of that. So. With that being said, Jeff, do you have any updates for the 911 Council?
Sure. Been to a couple of their meetings. The big thing that really has come up is that council is on the governor's list to eliminate. Wasn't anything I said, so it's not related to me. Um, uh, Everything else seems to be fairly minor. They're working on being able to. So if you call from a cell phone in Iowa and it hits a cell tower in another state, they're working on being able to transfer those back. And then I know we're going to be working on some training funds policy for training funds for dispatching training. So clarifications on some of that in the next meeting or so. So, unless anybody else has any questions.
I don't think so. Hearing none. Thanks, Jeff.
Yep.
Patrick, state of Iowa?
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Okay. It's always a mystery whether or not my mic's going to work. I don't have a ton of things. Two things. One, broadband. We are getting ready to announce awards of $150 million in the next couple days, probably. And then this next year will be focused on BEAD, which will be about $415 million across the state. And there may be some opportunities for particularly county folks to kind of get the word out to communities and that sort of thing during that application process. That's still kind of maturing right now of what that process is going to look like. We have a grant application, our final grant package that is due to the federal government by December 30th. So that's a to be determined thing, but we may call on especially some counties where we know there is unserved and underserved locations according to the broadband map, to try to get the word out for things like speed tests and some other things that are coming down the pipeline. So the other thing would be just I got back from the National States Geographic Information Council annual meeting a couple weeks ago, and a lot of things going on there, but probably the biggest thing I think that was of discussion for Iowa GIS folks is really about web accessibility. So web content and accessibility guidelines and things that are coming down the pipeline for accessibility requirements for state or federal, state, and local governments who are producing or putting up content. ESRI did present there along with some other accessibility experts, and really trying to figure out where maps kind of fit into existing digital content standards and that sort of thing. And I don't know if is there anybody else that's talking about any of this at their agency or organization? So because we all use, most of us are using some sort of ESRI product. ESRI has been pretty good, and I'll put this link in the chat about accessibility guidelines and content, and there are some of note there on that link that I provided as their sort of overall strategy and things that you can read about how to design for better accessibility. Looking at how their JavaScript API 4.4.x is better meeting those needs if you're doing any development or using any of the instant apps or new program or new applications or the new map. Designing for color blindness. There's a great thing someplace down on that page under additional resources where the Minnesota IT Services has put out a map accessibility document, which is really good. And then the other thing is on that page up on conformance reports, they do have a list of conformance reports that they've actually run through various tools to determine whether or not their products either meet or partially meet or don't meet certain guidelines under those products. So of those, you can go under conformance reports and that'll pop up on a page. And then there's one for ArcGIS Online and ArcGIS Hub that are probably the most pertinent for public information and that sort of thing. That's all I really have.
It sounds like
questions or
this sounds like a longer term feature lunch and learn.
Yeah, I would agree. You know, I think there's definitely some people from ESRI or even the St. Louis office that probably could do some content that on that particular topic, you know, or even a quick roadmap of where things are and how their roadmap is going to fit in with the WCAG version 2 guidelines that was just up for public review and I think closed a couple weeks ago, or maybe it wasn't even last week.
Yeah, this is something we should explore further, I think.
So.
Any other questions for anybody? Patrick?
Yeah, I don't have much. My head is full of broadband right now, so that's about all I can give.
No, appreciate it. Thanks, Patrick. Micah, flowing right into talking about lunch and learn topics.
I don't think
So he's not. Okay.
I know enough of what's going on, so I'll give the update. October lunch and learn next Wednesday at noon. Lauren Volker from Esri will be talking about ArcGIS image for ArcGIS Online. Micah sent that email out a few days ago. I'm sure there'll be another one, you know, within this next week. Micah and I had discussed what was going on with November, and given that the lunch and learn was going to be on GIS Day, we came to the preliminary conclusion that we were just going to bypass November and just everybody do whatever GIS Day events are going on in your area. So, and then in December, Tommy Larson of UNI is going to do the lunch and learn. He spoke at our Earth Observation Day, was really good. And so we figured it was probably something for the larger IGIC group. Not exactly certain what the topic's going to be, but he's just charismatic speaker. It should be really good. So if you have topics for next year, you can send them to Micah, or Tyler Danielson is also assisting her with that stuff. So I think that's everything for lunch and learn related.
I do know there's been talks for next, or at least for next year in 2024, to do something on like COGO or parcels, also some possible like CAD to GIS, and that's some other workflows. So those are some topics that we're looking at as well. Oh, and domains. That was there when we talked. Those are the three things we talked about. Otherwise, other projects, conferences, representatives, regional user groups. GS Day is coming up. That is November 15th. We're at what, 28 days out right now, 4 weeks. So
ISU is going to have an event on the 15th. We're actually holding it in the library, one of their collaboration spaces. We will, once we have it all hashed out closer towards that day, we'll send out an email, because obviously we'll invite anybody from IGIC. That's what we're doing for GIS Day. I know.
And you guys
yeah, this is Violet Hatch from ISU GIS facility. To addition to what Josh said, also, we are organizing a GIS gallery and competition as part of our GIS day, and we are accepting maps, story maps, and applications. We will send more details about this in the soon, and everyone is welcome to participate. So it's a quick announcement.
This is Ben Wagner. We have also coming up on November 15th, we have the Eastern Iowa GIS User Group meeting that'll be occurring over at Wiki Up Hill in rural Toddville. And I have sent out registration forms through IGIC Google groups and on the Slack channels. I'll send out another reminder invitation here in another week or so. And then also, if anybody, we still have some openings on our agenda. If anybody wants to attend and give a short kind of presentation, just kind of share what anything you've been working on or anything you'd like to share with the group, that would be great.
Anything else going on?
Magic is going to be occurring this next year. That's in April of 2024 in Omaha. So it is a close drive. That is one thing that I forgot to mention. The treasurer's board is usually we do provide $250, I believe, for a Friends of Magic sponsorship. So probably will be, just to get approval for that in January. But so look for that at that.
I'd like to add, just as long as we're on that topic, is if somebody call for presentations will be coming out for that soon. And I would encourage anybody who is on the board to think about presenting. That'd be great. I think you'll all probably have something to contribute. And then also if there's anybody who is interested in actually doing a workshop, or what we're going to be doing is also mini workshops. So there'll be the traditional half day workshop, but then there'll be a mini workshop that I think is an hour and a half. We're going to be talking about that in the next couple of weeks. So if those, either of the workshop kind of opportunities interests you, send me a message.
And the dates are April 15th through the 18th?
Yeah, 15th through the 18th, April.
That is squarely across where we're planning an IGIC meeting.
That is. All right, just gonna move it. Well, look for that change, for that meeting to be moved.
Yeah. I think so.
That is the next agenda item.
That is the very next agenda. All right. Anything else for other projects? Or other things? Hearing none. So 2024 schedule. I had drafted out the dates for 2024. I'm going to go ahead and move the April one here to the 24th. We'll look at that. I'll figure it out because we'll have to look at the lunch and learn schedule.
We'll be able to move stuff around.
Yeah, we'll figure it out. But our next meeting will be on January the 17th. Here coming up. So with those dates figured out here and let you all know. Otherwise, I have nothing else. Is there anything else for the good of the cause for the meeting? Hearing none. Congrats, Robin, for.
Hang on just a second, would you? It's Debbie. I was supposed to ask from across Iowa if you are interacting with any 4-H clubs or extension offices. National 4-H for the GPS GIS program is wanting to get Iowa back involved in this. And I'm glad to help get somebody started in it, but I probably won't be chaperoning students to San Diego anymore, but they do all kinds of things And so if you have anybody that you know that has youth groups, it doesn't have to be 4-H. They can also be in after-school programs, things like that. And what they do then is they make them an independent 4-H'er for this program. But these kids do awesome mapping, and now they're working on where's the food. And so they're looking at food deserts across Iowa. And the last one they did, I think they did 3 years of opiate problems, what's happening with the overuse of opioids. So they do some major work. So if anybody knows anybody that is looking for that kind of a national type project, we have several states that do it. And I'm still one of the national chaperones and adult advisors for it. So I can set them up with exactly the things they need to know more about, and I'm glad to do that. So share if you know somebody.
I have a question, Debbie, about the
Sure.
program itself. If you do you have something you could send me that explains like at a high level what that program is that I
Sure.
can share with a few of our extension
Okay.
friends? 15, 20 years ago, there was someone that we worked with in extension who was using Garmin's for what sounds like a very similar program. And he would take students out to learn how to use those. But then when he moved up in the Iowa State administration, I think that program ended. It might be a good time to for us to contact someone out there and see if someone new wants to take it on, or if they've done it and we just don't know it, give them this info.
Well, I know Alan Jensen is the one that got me started when he was at ISU. And so,
yeah, and he was working with Jay something.
yes.
But anyway.
I remember that name.
Okay.
Staker.
Jay Staker, yeah, that's
yes. Good job, Josh.
Yeah.
I'll take credit though.
Oh, who said it? Who said Jay Staker? Patrick. Nice. Okay.
No, but thank you. If you have any ideas, I will send Robin information, and if anyone else wants it, let me know. I'll put that together this week to get it to her. So
Debbie, this is Penny. Would you include me on that?
It's who?
Penny.
Penny. Yep, I'll include you too.
Oh, penny.vossler@gmail. Because the Boone County one no longer works.
At Gmail?
At Gmail.
Yeah, I think you sent me that before, so I'll find you.
All righty.
All right.
Robin can forward. She knows what.
Yeah, Debbie, if you just send it to me, I will make sure that it is all included in the minutes.
Okay. Who? Anya?
This is Anya, yes.
Okay. All right. Sorry, I just about forgot that, but thank you for letting me slip that in.
No worries. Anything else? All right, I'll take a motion to end the meeting.
So moved.
Any motions?
I'll second.
Brad seconds. Meeting is adjourned. Thanks all. See you all in January 17th, 10 a.m.
Before you all back off, since I am not there in person, could I get a list of the people who are there so that I can include that in the minutes? And if somebody just want to type up the